I'm not at all surprised that Marvel once again put out a good movie. But I am surprised, though, that Thor Ragnarok actually turns out to be the best Marvel movie. I can't even say that with a straight face. I have no idea how this is currently the highest ranked Marvel movie ever on Rotten Tomatoes, but that doesn't mean I didn't have fun in my own sense. So Thor Ragnarok basically stars Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Tom Hiddleston, and Cate Blanchett, and Thor is once again returned back to Asgard in the midst after all of Earth's shenanigans, and he comes across this prophecy where he hears about Ragnarok, which is supposed to be the destruction of all things Asgard, and Hela, the goddess of death, comes onto the scene and comes to put that prophecy in motion mighty fast. So after clashing with Hulk on this bizarre planet, Thor gets the idea to put a team together. I'm not going to spoil the name because it's hilarious. He gets the idea to put together a team to go and take it to Hela and reclaim Asgard. Pretty cool time. So the first thing I loved about Thor Ragnarok is its action and its cast. This movie has a really great cast. Marvel just does a good job all around of recruiting A-list actors and making them all have great chemistry. I love seeing the Asgardian brothers back together. Thor and Loki, whenever they're on screen together, I love their bickering brother dynamic. It never gets old. I love the new characters. Hulk is new to this space franchise world, and he gets ample screen time. I love what they did about Hulk. He didn't feel over milked, but he felt like a solid presence in the movie. I love Jeff Goldblum as the master designer guy who was basically the head of the gladiator matches on the Thor's planet that he landed on. And I love Cate Blanchett as Hela. She was one of the coolest designed Marvel villains in a while, but I kind of felt like she was the typical run-of-the-mill Marvel villain, and that they didn't really go too much into her backstory. You didn't really connect with her as a character or her motivations, but she was still cool in her own right. She's the goddess of death. She can materialize weapons out of her own will, and they did a really good job of making her intimidating. She is crazy strong in this movie, so you feel like it's needed for Thor to just be like, yeah, I can't take this chick on alone. We need some help. But yeah, overall, I love the cast of this movie. The action also looks pretty slick. It's entertaining. The CGI is blended very well. And I like how this movie goes deeper into exploring Thor's power. You thought basically all his thunder powers came from wielding his hammer. No, when his hammer is broken, spoiler from the trailer, when his hammer is broken, they do a good job of exploring. No, this plays Asgard, and it's you. You're the one who gives you the source of your power. It's not the hammer. The hammer doesn't make the man makes the hammer. So I like that whole Iron Man type theme dynamic, and they did a good job exploring it. I also love how beautiful this movie is. The art direction in this movie is phenomenal. I love the direction they're going with these Space Guardians of the Galaxy region movies, in the sense that they are so bright, they are so colorful, the backgrounds are all so beautiful. There's this one particular flashback scene in particular showing Hela's first conquest of Asgard, and the background's like a mosaic painting. It was so lush, so beautiful. I was so immersed. Great job to the visual team of this movie. Definitely try and reckon those Oscar nominations to compete with Suicide Squad, I see. But overall, this is a really good looking movie. Fun, fluid, fast action. It was a great time. And this movie also does a pretty good job of dishing out the humor. You thought the Guardians of the Galaxy movies were lighthearted and nonchalant? In this movie, they're cracking jokes every 5 seconds. A lot of it is working. You can tell they have a good director that can film comedy really well. Physical, situational, all the different types of comedy are here and represented pretty well because the actors generally are funny. They have good things to say and they have good delivery saying it. This is a pretty funny movie, but overall, the lighter tone helped and hurt the movie, which I'm about to go into. First of all, the first thing I didn't really like about Thor Ragnarok is its second act. After the much anticipated Hulk versus Thor fight ends kind of on a weird note, they kind of go into this put the team together phase of the story, which the Avengers movies did seamlessly. Perfectly, but this movie, it's a whole chunk of movie where you're just feeling like it's very, very slow. Not as much is happening. The action isn't dispersed around, and it's still, you're not bored. You're entertained. There's jokes flying left and right, and most of them land. But at the same time, there was that whole second act until the last fight of Asgard. It's kind of shaky. It wasn't paced that well. You kind of felt a little too slow for my taste. But this main thing I have with Thor Ragnarok, my main beef with this movie is it's so light. It's so lighthearted, so comedic. It doesn't have time to balance out its drama. The little drama it has in it, which is a shame because you care about these characters, you've seen them in enough movies. There are a lot of different ways they can take their direction. It's not like this movie is completely comedic, but I feel like it relied too heavily on its comedy as a crutch in certain scenes, which makes the jokes that don't land just kind of painful. They fall flat on their face. It kind of was like, you remember watching Thor: The Dark World, that random movie, and it was like certain the jokes were just awkwardly placed, and you were just like, okay, cut to the next scene. You gave us a beat to laugh. Cut to the next scene. That joke wasn't the best. Can we keep the ball rolling here? Which I didn't like as much. There were certain moments where the comedy just kind of fell flat for me, and which is a shame because the drama in it is actually done very well. They go back to the family dynamic, or Thor, I could have just called him Thor, Loki, and Odin. They go back to that family drama dynamic briefly, but it's not touched on for the rest of the movie. I don't like how light this movie was. I wish it had more drama in it. I remember when my superhero movie was serious. Here, the last battle, people are supposed to be dying, your homeworld's in shambles, and you're cracking jokes left and right. Get serious, man. There's stakes here. I didn't like how much this movie relied on its comedic tone, but it's a big complaint of mine, but that's not the worst thing in the world considering that this is a generally funny movie. I did enjoy this movie. It's very reminiscent of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 for me in that it's a really good time, but I have my problems with it. Even so, I'm going to give it the same rating I gave Guardians 2. I'm going to give Thor Ragnarok 3.5 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. It's a good time. Go see it. I'd recommend it, but who am I kidding? It's a Marvel movie. You're going to see it whether I say not to or, I don't care. But still, I still had a good time with this movie. Thank you so much for listening to my Thor Ragnarok review. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, comment, share. All those do huge things for my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you guys' feedback. I am Pac. Thanks so much for hearing my perspective, and I'm out for now.